Same exact way.
I believe it.
Ask him if I'm lying.
No, I hear it. I feel it. I could tell. You know, you're bullshitting. I know it.
And he sit there and listens and listens and listens and listens. I'm so glad that you fucking, because now it proves that I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that means a lot to me, you know?
Cool.
Believe it or not.
Hey, baby, it's all good.
Yeah, man.
We're just preaching.
No doubt.
Just preaching.
Just preaching. Hallelujah. You know?
You ready?
Yeah, let's
I'm
do
ready.
this. Let's do this, baby. We're just
I'm
having
ready.
a good time, that's all. All right. Part
Yo,
4.
you got me feeling so good.
Part 4.
Hey, man, it's what the business is about. We're supposed to have fun. You
Yeah.
know? We are. We're supposed to do
You
this
having
and
fun?
have fun. Yeah. Yeah, we're having a nice time.
I'm having fun. You having fun, Drew?
I'm having a ball.
For real?
This is
Are
a
you
great
having fun?
time. of
That makes
course.
me feel good because
I'm
he's
glad.
not a
I'm a
wrestling
sponge.
fan. You hear me?
Yeah, I
He-
understand.
That makes me feel good because he's not a wrestling
Right.
fan.
I'm a sponge.
That
you
tells
know?
me that he understands me.
Well, you know what we're doing?
You know?
We're being a part of something special. Because right now, all kidding aside, the business, all of entertainment, all kidding aside, has changed to you can tape it.
Yeah.
All the business has changed so much that with YouTube, like Justin Bieber got discovered by YouTube.
Yeah.
He got signed to an agent because he was just like this, a guy on a skinny, good-looking kid that could sing into a camera that popped on YouTube. So now the power of this little thing that normally would feel like a bunch of jabrones just trying to do something to get themselves off.
Yeah.
But with this now that I have a name and you have, you know, your site and we have this conglomerate, you know, we could really get people to notice.
We relate.
And we can get tens of thousands of views.
Yeah.
That's people interested.
Relate,
So we have
makes
power
sense.
right now.
Yeah.
The social media has given us power. So if we say something, we could be saying garbage and nobody cares. But if we say something that's going to hit home, if we have anything to say and they hear it, then they'll buy. Then they'll get into it.
Yes.
It's up to us to say something that's worth saying.
Yeah.
You know,
makes sense.
And right now the timing is right because of the reunion, and because of wrestling the way it is. Shane is very right when he says this is the rebirth, because when ECW took off and WCW and all that popped, Vince, like I remember saying, was down on the dumps. He was having the bad gimmick era that I was telling you about.
Yeah.
That's when wrestling popped again. Was when, you know, any business, concert business, music business, when there's a big pop is usually when it's low, so they're looking for somebody to save it, like a big super act, like somebody to pop it. And right now they're looking for the next Stone Cold. They're looking for the next Rock. They're looking for the next ECW Revolution, something to pop it. And I think what we're doing will just help pop it. You know, if we're saying something that's worth it, if we're giving something positive to the people that will, you know,
If it's worth listening to,
look, if we're just a bunch of guys,
then they're gonna listen to it, man.
If we're just
they're
a bunch of guys out
especially,
here,
if they're a wrestling fan, especially.
I think if we are guys that know what we're talking about, that have something to offer, we're okay. If we're just a bunch of fucking idiots that are talking,
jabrones,
just to hear ourselves
I don't use
talk,
those words, but I use it now. Jabrones.
If we're a bunch of jabrones just sitting behind a camera, just to put ourselves over, like the indie guys I was talking about, they're happy to just be in front of a camera. They don't care if 5 people are watching. We have a message and something to say, and now we have the privilege of being in front of tens of thousands of people. You know, and with Twitter, with Facebook, just with all my followers, we'll have 6,000 people view this.
Yeah. Hopefully, man.
I know it will happen.
I wish,
it's not a wish;
you know?
it's going to. I'm gonna promote this
that's
on
my
Mike
goal,
Johnson,
you know? That's my goal.
on Jason Powell.
That's my goal.
You're gonna have traffic like you've never had. And, you know,
okay, now we're gonna start with this plane ride, baby.
Yep, it's a plane ride from hell. Okay.
One real quick.
Yeah, talk.
You know, I heard one story about it. It's famous. It's on YouTube. It's an X-Pac. You look it up on YouTube. The plane ride from hell. X-Pac tells a little story about it, and I did an interview with X-Pac, and
you did.
and I didn't ask about it. You know, it slipped my mind, but I remember the interview. I watched it, and X-Pac is hilarious. He just makes this so funny.
He is.
And I don't know, speak about that ride, man. And like he spoke funny about it, and
Yeah.
he didn't speak much about it. He didn't.
Well, very controversial, though.
I know you was on the ride.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah. Insurrection pay-per-view was the name of the pay-per-view we were
Can I
coming
hear
back from.
something? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. WWE has England only pay-per-views. They're pay-per-views specifically just for England. Nobody else gets them in America. It's just a special live event for them once a year. It's called Insurrection. It was X Factor for our match. It was X Factor against the Hardy Boys, and a tag match, big match for us, and NWO was there and so forth.
Huh?
Vince at the time was chartering flights, like we weren't on commercial flights.
What you mean charter? What is that?
We'd rent the whole plane.
Oh. Okay.
So the whole plane was
Would be
ours.
yours.
We had a 747, all ours.
Yeah.
Well, all ours meaning all the wrestlers, but we have the TV crew. So we got every cameraman, the girls that make the costumes. We had a full plane
Yeah.
of WWE people.
Yeah.
You know, the tour managers, everybody. You know, whatever. Now with that comes, for some reason, and I bet you Vince has not done it since, or will never do it after, had a full and open bar. And what I mean by that is just a plane filled with alcoholic wrestlers at the end of a tour, at the end of a grueling tour. This was the last day of the tour.
Yeah.
So think about it. It's like last day of school. School's out for summer.
day.
Bunch of wrestlers. We just did a fucking kick-ass show.
Y'all was coming back.
Coming back,
Okay.
right. We just rocked it, you know, like sold out 20,000 people. Fuck yeah, party. You know, we just sold, you know what I mean, at a big fucking event. We're pumped, you know, we're going home. We had a long-ass tour. Free fucking liquor on a private plane.
Vince was on it?
Yeah, Vince was on it. Everybody, the whole office. That's what I'm saying. Everybody. So
He didn't mention that Vince was on it.
Vince was on the plane.
He
Absolutely.
mentioned Linda being on it. I'm going
Everybody
to tell
was
you
on
what
the
he
plane.
said about Linda being
Flair
on it.
was on the plane. Everybody was on the
Yeah.
plane. And it was just outrageous, dude. I mean, we had, like you said, Kurt Hennig and Brock Lesnar got into it. And they weren't fighting at first, but they're very competitive in human nature. So they're just scraping along, like messing around. Then something happened where it got serious.
Oh, yeah?
It got serious.
See, he didn't
it
mention
come
this.
to blows.
He didn't mention
It didn't
that.
come to
He
blows.
didn't mention that.
But like the opening that they have on planes, you know how they have a little bit of openings?
Yeah.
Those openings are the emergency exit rows. Now, Brock's a shooter, a wrestling shooter, and Kurt, the shooter kind of too.
Really?
So they took it seriously, and they didn't want, like you said, Kurt's a competitive guy. So was Brock. They didn't want to give in to each other. And they're both from Minneapolis, so they're from that same neck of the woods. They
Let me ask you a
went at
question.
it so hard that people had to separate them because they almost popped open the emergency
I heard
exit,
about that. They
dude.
almost opened the door and they
25,
went,
30,000 feet in the
Almost
air.
at the
They're
door,
going at it so bad that they almost pop open the fucking exit, man.
That's outrageous.
Can I have a bogey? I'm sorry. So yeah, that was just one. Oh yeah. Oh, there was nothing in there. That was just one of them, dude. And you got Scott Hall too. Out of his mind. He's completely out of his mind, shimmying, shaking. On the flight back, when we got off the flight, I'll go back to the flight, but for how bad Scott was, I had to get a wheelchair and roll him through customs at JFK.
What you mean?
He was not responsive.
Going
back through customs
when
on
y'all
the way
got
back
there?
after the plane flight. Yeah, I'll go back to the plane flight, but
Yeah.
just so I don't forget.
Yeah.
He was that fucked up that I had to.
gotta
I had to roll him in a wheelchair past Vince and past Jim
Oh
Ross.
my
Through
God! You
customs.
gotta be kidding
Through
me!
customs. People with photographers, fucking
Oh!
paparazzi.
What happened to all that? I never seen
Sum
that.
it up, man.
No,
All fucked
I
up.
mean, what happened to all the pictures? They never showed
I don't know.
paparazzi.
I don't know.
kept it.
I don't know.
They never showed.
I mean, this was 10 years ago, so who knows
I
if they
never
did.
heard about
But
that.
yeah, I'm sure they're out there.
I never heard about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyways, another one, and this is why Michael Hayes, this is why Michael Hayes did eventually get his hair snipped, is he was getting, he was real bad, and he's got a lot of heat. Nobody likes him.
Oh yeah.
But he's real smart. Real
Yeah.
smart businessman.
Yeah.
So he was drunk, rowdy as fuck.
Drunk.
Drunk, yeah. Like being a dick, like loud and obnoxious, you know. And Bradshaw, JBL, just had a killer match with somebody. I think it was maybe Eddie Guerrero, and Bradshaw was cut open bad. So, you know, that kind of a match. So Bradshaw is sitting there sleeping, getting some Z's, you know, and bandaged up. Fucking Michael Hayes comes by, all fucking, hey, you fucking redneck. Pops him right in the forehead.
Oh yeah, I heard about
opens
that.
his gash.
Oh.
So now Bradshaw's in a suit, you know, nice clothes, fly clothes, busted wide open, bleeding like a pig over his, you know, you're in fucking airport, or you're in an airplane, you know. So that was huge. Like he, you know, he wanted to go after Hayes, but mind you, JBL's a wrestler. Michael Hayes is office. Like he's your boss. What are you gonna do? Kick your boss's ass? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But obviously Michael Hayes is way out of line.
Yeah.
Whatever. So Michael Hayes continues his bullshit. Falls asleep. Kid immediately gets the fucking shears.
Wait.
Kid X-Pac.
Excuse me. I'm sorry, but I'm correct you if you probably don't remember, but in the video X-Pac said JBL got up and knocked him out.
I might have. Might have.
That's what he said.
That I don't recall. He may have. That may be true. That could be true. All I'm just remembering the part that I remember. I recall the best was the clipping, because it's just so outrageous. You know, he passes out. Kid got the shears. Snips the fucking big ass Michael Hayes ponytail. Now Michael Hayes is the old school '80s kind of rocker. You know, that corny ass. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know, he's bald up front, but he's got that thing in the back. And bro, I never seen somebody so drunk and pilled up, looking himself like we were going through security and saw the mirrors, like, you know, in security, like the reflection. He saw, it was like something out of a movie. He went, nothing, no. And he just went from like this to, he popped out like stone cold sober. And he just, like, you know, in customs line. This is going through customs. All of this, the wheelchair in, the pissing off, the bleeding.
Wow.
You know, now Michael Hayes wants to fight people.
Wow.
In customs,
Yeah,
like you're talking
outrageous.
about U.S. agents, you know, and he's fucking ripping, you know, and nobody stooges that off. Nobody stooges Pac
What you mean
off.
stooges?
Like tells him,
nobody
snitches on him
yeah.
because nobody likes him, you know. So that's one. That's just a par for the course.
Yeah,
Flair. Okay. Naked Flair with the robe, nothing on underneath, going to the stewardesses. Woo! Woo! Come on, baby! Woo! Naked 60-year-old man jump flying everywhere with the robe. Come on, sweetheart. Dance, stay a little longer. Come on, dance. Woo! You know, fucking that kind of
Man, you a
insanity.
good imitator of him, boy. I love it. I've never seen nobody do that imitation like that.
Oh yeah, it was
that was
fucking
good.
hot, man. What
was
else
good.
happened on that flight, man? So much.
All right, so let me ask you a question
yeah.
real quick. When Brock Lesnar and this guy got broken up, so what happened after that? As soon as
And a couple minutes later, it cooled off, and then
Oh,
back
yeah?
to normal. Yeah, that's the craziness of wrestling.
they was talking
dude.
again?
Yeah, oh yeah. Dude, that's the craziness of wrestling. It's like, you know, everything is,
That's crazy.
you know, it's amazing. I mean,
No, but not for nothing. That's cool because, you know, it seems like, you know, that's what friends do, believe it or not. Sometimes y'all fight and
and Brock
argue,
and
and then
Kurt
y'all
were
turn
friends.
around.
And they were friends.
And then you
they
turn
were,
around
yeah.
and start talking again, right
And they were
after
friends,
arguing
and
and,
they were,
fighting,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
That's what friends do sometimes.
And
bro.
you know, there's
Wow.
there's a couple other little
It's
ones
cool.
I'm trying to think about. Believe it or not, I was cool through the whole thing. I remember I wasn't fucked up.
Yeah.
I was babysitting that night. I had to babysit Scott with the wheelchair. I had to stay straight because everybody else was so
Yeah, they
fucked
said a
up.
story about this guy, Joey Matthews.
Joey, yeah.
Yeah, what happened on that
Was he
day,
on that flight?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember
No,
Joey.
no.
No, talk to me. Maybe I could recall.
Supposedly he was all fucked up, and Booker T had to, I think.
Booker.
Like and Charmel brought him and
Wow.
put their arm and put him, relaxed him,
Boy.
Yeah, he was just twisted.
Yeah, that's not.
I'm not sure if it's
Yeah.
that ride, but
Man.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
It was just an amazing thing to have a fucking plane that big, with that many wrestlers and that much alcohol and the shenanigans going on there, man. I mean, Vince could have gotten in a lot of trouble with all of that. Vince is technically in charge of a plane ride with bleeding, alcohol,
X-Pac said something about
fucking
him
sexual
with-
harassment,
Let me ask you a question, man. X-Pac said something about Michael Hayes whipping out his shit on Linda. He was gonna piss or
that
something.
night, yes. About taking a leak.
Yeah, man.
On Linda.
What the fuck is that about?
He's a crazy man. He's insane.
Vince was there though?
Vince was on the plane.
No, was he right next to Linda?
No, oh no.
That's what I
no,
mean.
No, no. He was on the flight. Yes, Vince was on the flight.
I don't know.
As far as I can recall, because there was no.
She wouldn't sit. They wouldn't be together.
Because it's a big plane and people move around. I mean, it was
Yeah.
a 10-hour flight, so people walk up and down.
Yeah.
And I don't recall personally, like I can't attest swearing that he was there because I don't remember.
Yeah.
But there was everybody else in the company was on that plane.
Oh, okay.
Why wouldn't Vince be? If Linda, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way Vince wouldn't be on that plane. It was the
'cause
only
I
plane.
never heard nothing about Vince. being
Yeah,
on the plane,
that must have been his kayfabe, because he's a wild man too. I've done drugs near Vince, not with Vince. I'm not gonna lie and say, but I was in a bar when Vince was doing coke, and he was taking finishes from the boys.
Oh, I heard about that.
Straight
The
up
Road
finishes.
Warriors.
Yeah, I was there, dude. He took the 360 bump. That's how he
and
fucked his
Nye
neck
Hart
up and
and
got
the Heart
the Heart
Foundation.
Foundation.
Yeah.
He was insane. That was one of my first
I heard.
ever
I heard
memories of that debauchery. Because I wasn't even a contracted guy. I was a jobber at the time. And I saw all of that shit, dude. It was insane.
Yeah.
Vince is a wild man. He is a wild man.
Was.
But man, I have fucking stories like that, man, that will not stop.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
cool.
just
Ain't nothing wrong
insane.
with that.
Oh, I mean,
There's things happen in life, and
yeah, just craziness. That was
Yeah,
very
man.
memorable, and somebody could have died on that flight.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it's scary when a guy like Scott is in a wheelchair and I gotta roll him through. I mean, could you imagine what we look like? Like, professionally, I was a little embarrassed for the company because we look like out of control lunatics.
Did you look hot though?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I couldn't have been bad because I remember everything, and I was taking care of Hall, and I remember Jim Ross sitting at baggage claim. I'm walking through with my head down, and Ross is just sitting here with his briefcase going like this.
Yeah.
That look of disgust, like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, Scott's like old enough to be my father. I'm like, I'm the young guy. He should be doing that to me. I'm the immature guy, supposedly,
Yeah.
And man, it's just crazy.
So-
But how embarrassing must that be, though? If you're Vince, the owner of the company, to have your men that you're so proud of, your whole show.
I'm surprised
Your
none
paper.
of that ever got out, man.
That
I'm
was
surprised.
horrifying.
None of it.
Horrifying. To be called the plane ride from hell?
But I heard there was
Pretty bad stuff.
worse rides than that, actually.
I don't know, man. I'm not on that setting.
No.
Because it was a private plane, private plane, and it was all us. So we just took advantage, big time took advantage.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna do a little something different here.
Shoot me, man. Shoot it.
I have a bunch of names here,
Yeah.
and I know they do word association. It's not nothing like word association. I'm gonna read names, and I'm gonna say, something I know about them.
Okay.
And if you know what I'm talking about, or something I've heard that is in the internet, not something I know.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say something I know because I don't know none of that because I wasn't never
I
there.
got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But things that's been said that I heard,
You
that I
want me to
know.
give it a true or false?
No,
No.
not at all. I want you to elaborate. If you
I'm
know
not-
anything,
All
if
right.
you do know anything, if you
Let's hit
don't
it.
know anything, if you don't gotta say you don't know, you know?
Okay, let's hit it.
If you know, then speak on
Let's
it.
speak.
You know
Let's
what I'm
go,
saying?
baby.
Alright. Eddie Guerrero.
Yes.
What you hear about him a lot is like he was like one of the wrestlers that passed away that kind of hit me the most, being
Latino?
no,
No.
being a fan.
Okay.
Period. For some reason,
It hit a lot of people.
it had
hard.
nothing to do with race. I'm not a person like that. It was just the stories you hear and what you see of him, and the stories from what you see is like you envision, and
A certain, okay.
it really touched me in a way that, not even Owen, because I would put Owen maybe second, touched me as much as Eddie.
Okay. Yeah.
And he had a special, I don't know, speak about Eddie.
Just very quiet. Eddie was very quiet. Very tortured soul. That's what I got from Eddie.
Tortured soul, what you
Tortured.
mean?
Just, you could see by Eddie, and I was around him when he had cleaned up. So I wasn't around Eddie. I caught the end of it. Like, I was there when he was fucked up, but most of the time when I knew Eddie, he had gotten to rehab and cleaned himself up. So he was two different people.
Yeah.
When he had cleaned up, you could tell he was tortured.
Tortured. What you
Just
mean?
hurt inside. He had, when you talk to him or see him in the hallways, just this heaviness about him. You could tell something was bothering him. I don't know what. I knew him for 2 years after that. He was clean for 2 years before he passed.
I know. I know he's clean. I don't know how long.
A substantial amount of time,
Yeah.
But he always seemed like there was something wrong. He wasn't happy.
Yeah.
Best way I could put it. It wasn't with his family, because from what I understand, him and his wife had a good relationship.
Yeah.
His kids, which were his pride and joy. I think the withdrawal, not just the physical withdrawal, the mental, I just don't think he ever adjusted and recovered. I fully don't think he recovered from drug addiction. Physically, he like all the signs, just mentally, because wrestlers become so dependent on it just for mental health. Because sometimes people are depressed. A lot of times, if you know about alcoholism and drug addiction, people that are addicted because they're unhappy in their lives. So they do drugs or drink liquor to forget, or to change your emotion. And I think Eddie had a lot of problems inside. Therefore, he did drugs to forget. So I think when he finally came to and remembered,
It hurt him.
I think he had a lot of pain in his heart, and he couldn't deal with it.
Yeah.
He was very sad. That's all I got from Eddie.
Yeah, that's sad, man.
Yeah, that's all I could take from him, and I didn't know him very well.
No doubt. That's good stuff, man. I like that. See, that's what I want, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Whatever you feel like saying.
Yeah. I could only tell the truth.
Whatever I say.
Yeah.
Benoit.
Very carbon copy. Carbon copy. Same thing. Didn't know him very well. They hung out together too. They were boys, like best friends.
What do you see when you look at him in his eyes? What his eyes? So you see a lot when you look at a person in the eyes. What his eyes told you?
He looked very similar to him as far as callous, cold.
Eddie?
Benoit.
Similar to Eddie?
Similar but different. He seemed very cold. Almost like nothing there. Being honest. Very, very rare that I see a smile on his face. I did business with him too. I worked with him a lot in the ring. Professional. One of the best ever I have been in the ring with. Just a machine. A wrestling machine. But, not a lot of emotion. I think he was very tortured and pain himself.
Weird.
Yeah, very. I could see how, I shouldn't say this is very heavy, but I could see how he kind of...
Bugged out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming.
No, but it don't surprise you.
Well, it surprised me, but I can understand it.
Yeah.
More than anybody else.
Yeah.
I guess.
Owen Hart.
Owen. Wonderful guy. Wonderful. Jokester. Prankster. Always the guy. He would rib himself. Like, we would all fly in, let's say, and we'd get to London, and time change, jet lag. Owen would purposely stay up till 4 in the morning to get everybody and call he'd have the sheet of everybody's rooms. We checked in, so he had a sheet of all the wrestlers' rooms that the tour manager would get, and he would call everybody and be at 4 in the morning, wake everybody up out of a dead sleep. Hello, can I get breakfast for you? You know, like room service, like fake room service. You know, like do it to everybody just to wake you up, disturb your sleep, just to rib you and prank you. You know, he'd pull pranks all the time.
Yeah.
So he was a prankster. You know,
that's
happy
what you
guy.
hear about him. That's
Happy guy, family man, wonderful man, wonderful.
Yeah.
Man.
Cool, man. Gorilla Monsoon.
I didn't know him.
No? You never met Gorilla?
I met him, but I didn't really know him.
Yeah.
No.
You never got a vibe from him?
No. When I met Gino, he was very quiet, older, just kind of there. Yeah, that was all.
Hakoon Barbarian, they talk about them a lot and say, you know, that's number 1 and 2 as being one of the strongest 2 dudes and toughest dudes
guys. Yeah, dude.
in the business.
Yeah, man.
Number 1 and 2.
Yeah, buddy. Yep, I would say Haku first.
Why would they say? Yeah, that's what they say. Everybody.
They're
Why?
just beasts, dude. You want to talk about beasts? First of all, they're islanders, they're island people.
Yeah.
And I don't care what you say, they're a different breed. I can't. I'm exhausted. No, I don't care. I was saying that into the camera. I'm exhausted just from the day.
Yeah.
They're island people, dude. They're just tough, raw-boned individuals, and you can't hurt them. You can't do anything to them, and they're the nicest people you'll ever meet, but they're the toughest human beings you will ever meet, and they'll kill you. Who bit somebody's nose off in a fight?
What?
Yeah, bit his nose off.
Oh.
Yeah.
Kidding me. And
Sorry.
Barbarian, I hear he beat up 6 guys in a bar, right?
Yeah.
You don't know about that?
No,
No?
but I've heard that he's just an animal.
Yeah.
straight up animal.
That's good. Some good stuff. Alright, with all the stuff that was going on with Hogan and Warrior online, I know you heard a little about it, right?
Yeah.
You listened to what Warriors, a little bit of what the Warrior situation, right?
Yeah.
What he said,
Yeah.
his response. And X-Pac came and did a blog on his site.
Yep.
Alright. And X-Pac to me seems like, straight up dude, like you, similar, y'all
We're
talk
very
straight
similar.
up.
We're very
talk
similar,
straight
yeah.
up what it is.
Yeah, he'll tell you the truth no matter what.
From what he said, it seems like, seems real, it seems true what he says. So, he went off and said something about, he mentioned that because Warrior had mentioned about Hogan doing the wife swap and things like that. And he went off to say that was, a lie. He never heard nothing like that from Hogan. Wife swapping of no sorts in the business. Then he went off to say, but he did hear that Warrior ran some gay porn
stuff. Yeah,
I'd
heard that.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know anything about
Just
that?
the same rumors you've heard.
Yeah.
Nothing I could concretely say, but I'd heard the rumblings that he was involved in some gay porn stuff. Yeah.
Would you think that he would have Warrior? Do you think that he would have by now knew that
people know?
X-Pac
That he said.
talked about this on his blog?
Fuck yeah, he knows. Sure.
Okay, I twittered the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
I twittered him, and since I seen he responds to because this was before the Kevin Nash. This was before. You seen what happened with Kevin Nash? with Kevin Nash and him.
And Warrior?
Yeah.
No, what happened?
Kevin Nash offered supposedly $100,000 to shoot wrestle
To
him
fight
in
him.
the UFC.
I heard that. Yeah.
And he went and did a video about it.
Yeah. I
All
heard
right.
that. Yeah. I heard
And
that.
this was before Kevin Nash did this offer.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder why Warrior never responded to that, because I haven't Twittered him, like I said, and I said, Warrior, listen, X-Pac did this blog about you, and he speaks about you doing this pay-gay pornography thing. I think you need to respond to that.
Yeah.
And this was before the Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
So what boggles me is, like, why wouldn't he respond to that, yet he would respond to the Kevin Nash,
I don't know. I can't put a thing on it, I can't put it. What are you guys doing? You're making me nervous back there.
So you don't know nothing about you. Yeah, you and that. Yeah.
I have no idea. I really don't.
Cool. All right, listen, we're gonna cut it short now, and we're gonna come back.
Very good.
Part 5. You already know.
Yeah, man.
NoKayFabin.com.